So we'll check here. So this is a configuration of RIP. So first we'll configure in top. This one is a static route. Earlier we did. So we'll check, try to ping from this is a, let's assume this one is your source 192.168.10.10 and this one is your destination 192.168 60.10. How we can reachable or not? We can reach from source to destination. We'll check. Then how we are pinging. Then we'll configure RIP protocol. How they are selecting the best path. Step by step we'll discuss. Yes, we can able to reach. So first this is the way how we'll configure. So best path selection. First longest prefix how they are selected. Then after then AD value. So static AD value is 10. So enable show IP interface. Before that, we'll check show IP route. How we are getting the route. So statically we are getting the AD 192.168.60.10. Before that, I'll show you the configuration, entire configuration. So I have configured here VTP mode as a server. This is the VTP status is server. So VTP status. So for this command, we can check the VTP. For the VTP configuration, how we'll configure? Just move to the global configuration and VTP mode, just VTP mode, and give the question mark. One is server mode and one is client mode and one is the transparent mode. Server mode can be when we configured, it will propagate the VLAN information. Entire VLAN information will be propagated. And if we configure the client mode, it won't propagate the VLAN information. If you configure the transparent mode, it won't propagate the VLAN information, but we can edit, we can rename the VLAN, rename if whichever the configuration changes of VLAN we can do in this mode. But in client mode, we cannot edit, we cannot change. If you want to check, so make sure this is the VLAN, sorry, show VTP status. This is a client mode. So if you want to configure some VLAN 10. So in this mode, we cannot change, we cannot configure any VLANs. So, but once you configure here VLAN, so where? So VLAN brief. So in this client mode, we cannot change, we cannot edit, we cannot it will propagate the VLAN information even though. So this is all about the VTP, then DTP, dynamic trunking protocol. So make sure one is DD means this one is a dynamic desirable. Or we'll check. So interface, fast Ethernet, 0x1 and switch port mode. We'll check. This one is the dynamic desirable and this one is the DA. If this mode is DA means so interface fast Ethernet 0x1 and switch port mode is the DA dynamic auto. So in between trunk is established. How will verify that trunk is established or not? So interface trunk. With this command will check. If you see here, N means a negotiation is happen in between the auto mode, then DTP. Wait, give me a second. So how we'll enable? So we'll check here entire configuration of ISP. First we'll change the show IP route. So statically we are configured default route. So this is a statically we configured as a default route, conditionally default. So the AD value is here 1. So we'll enable in this RIP path 2 and RIP path 1. We'll configure in two path here, RIP path 1 and RIP path 2. So for that, we'll take IP addresses in between 13.1.1.1 for this router 24 and here 2 and this one is 14 and this one is 14.2 and this one is 15. This is dot 15 and this 16 and here 2 dot 1 16.1.1.2 and here the 17.1.1.1 and this one is 17.1.1.2. We'll configure here config P interface fast Ethernet 0/4 and no switch port and IP address is 13.1.1.1 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. And one more interface is interface fast Ethernet 0/5. This is the second path and no switch port mode. IP address is here 16.1.1.1.1 and 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. Close it. And for this router, interface fast Ethernet enable interface fast Ethernet config P and host name is here RIP path 2. Path 2 first router 1 and interface fast Ethernet 0/0 IP address is here 13.1.1.2 and 255 255.255.0 and no shutdown. And exit and interface fast Ethernet 0 by 1 and IP address is here 14.1.1.1. This is the IP address of this interface and 255.255.255.0 no shutdown. This is second router enable config terminal interface fast Ethernet 0 by before that we'll give the host name. Host name is RIP second path and router second router and interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0. IP address is here 14.1.1.2 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. Exit and interface fast Ethernet 0 by 1. IP address is here 15.1.1.1 and subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. Can check show IP interface brief fast Ethernet 0 by 1. The IP address is 14.1.1.2 and fast Ethernet 0 by 1. IP address is 15.1.1.1. Now we'll move to the MLS to enable config terminal interface fast Ethernet 0 by 4. 0 by 4 and IP address is not taking, so we have to enable no switch port command and IP address is 15.1.1.2 and 255.255.0 and no shutdown, no issue. And interface fast Ethernet 0 by 5 and no switch port and IP address is 15.17.1.1.2 and 255.255.255.0 no shutdown. As we configured and the last router is this router fast no enable config terminal interface fast. Before that we'll give hostname trip path 1 router 1 the path 1 and R1 interface fast Ethernet 0 by 0 and IP address is here 16.1.1.2 and 255.255.255.0 and no shutdown. And exit one more interface is fast Ethernet 0 by 1 interface fast Ethernet 0 by 1 and IP address is here 17.1.1.1.1 and 255.255.255.0 no shutdown. It's configured. So IP interface brief, we configure two interfaces. Now we'll configure the RIP protocol in between. Before that, what I'll do, I'll shut down this router. I'll close this router. Why we discuss? So route RIP protocol for enabling the RIP here. Simple command config terminal. Move to the router RIP. So if you want to give a version, by default version is, so here you can check. I have given only one command. Before that, exit. I'll show you something. I am removing with no RIP router RIP. Before that, show IP protocols. No protocols are configured in between. No protocols are configured. So how we configure RIP? To move to the global configuration terminal and RIP router RIP, use router RIP. Just for router RIP, we have configured RIP protocol. We enabled RIP protocol. So how we'll check which protocols are working? So IP protocol with this command will check the whichever the protocol are working. So before that, we have to advertise the prefixes because of this is a link state routing protocol. Sorry, this is a distance vector routing protocol. Once we configure the entire thing, we advertise the prefixes, then only we can check here. So router RIP and with by default version is 1. So make sure whichever version you are using, both end you have to enable same version. For that, use version 2. By default version is 1. So with network command will advertise the prefixes. Which prefixes? Those are the directly connected 11 dot, 13 dot, 16 dot, and 192.168.10 dot, and 192.168.20.0, and 192.168.40.0, and 192.168.50.0. These many prefixes we have to advertise. So for that, 192.168.10.0 and that much only, and 20.0 and 30.0. 30 we don't have here, so I'm removing this one, and 40.0 and 51. These are my LAN prefixes. I now move to the directly connected interfaces, directly connected networks. With network command, network 11.1.1. This is a prefix. This is a network ID 0. And one more is 13.1.1.0. And one more is network 16.1.1.0. Guys, understood? This is a with network prefix we have to advertise. Any doubts?
No.
Okay. So same thing we have to configure neighbor switches also, neighbor routers also. Config terminal, router, RIP. First, we'll configure. This is a path. Two hops away. Path is there, and one more in between. Only one hop means first hop and second hop. These are two hops away. Destination is available, and these are three hops away. Destination is available. We'll configure three hops away. So directly connected networks we have to advertise here. So version is second version we are taken, and network 13.1.1.0. and one more prefix, that is 14.1.1.0. So we have to advertise whichever the directly connected interfaces, directly connected networks, we have to advertise that much only. In this router, 14th one and 15th one, config terminal is a router path second, router 2, and router RIP and version second, and network IDs are 14.1.1.0 and network 15.1.1.0. So this much only configuration. So now tell me, it's easy way or not? Is there any difficult? Is there any difficult? We only whichever our directly connected interfaces, those interfaces only we are advertising. So now you guys tell me, this is the easy way or any difficulty is there? Yes, router, the RIP. So how many LAN prefixes we have? Those lines apart from the directly connected interfaces we have to advertise. So version is second one, and network 192.168 60.0 and 70.0 and 80.0, and one more is 90. 60, we learn 60, 70 and 80 apart from the 90 also we advertised. Network and whichever the directly connected interfaces, 12 so not required but 12. So don't advertise, because here we are not enabling the RIP protocol. Here already we configured as a static one. So make sure don't advertise. So what I did here, I have advertised or not? So I have advertised. So I'll remove that. 11th prefix we don't want. No. So statically we configured. The top one is. So 15.1.1.0 and one more is 16.17. Sorry, 17. This one is the 17. So this router I haven't configured till RIP is not enabled. So make sure. So we'll check how in which path we are getting entire prefixes. So IP route. So now you can check. R means RIP protocol we enable. So through RIP we are getting through RIP. R means RIP. D means EAGRP, and EX means external prefixes. O means OSPF. AI means OSPF inter area routes, and N1, this is the NSSA type, and these all are the NSSA types. And for BGP, so here we have legacy protocol, that is EGP protocol. And so B means BGP protocol. So make sure O means OSPF, B means BGP, R means RIP, D means here EHRP, and C means connected, directly connected, S means statically we enabled. If you see here, star mark, S with star, that is default route. So here we are getting through RIP protocols, and RIP AD value is 120, and you can check here 14.0.0.0. So as we discussed, whichever the prefixes is there, it will be sent through class full. So 14 means it is assumed like this prefix is like class, which class is this one? Class A. So it is assumed like this prefix is coming through class A. So now here you can check army. Here we are getting the prefixes. Which prefixes we are getting here through RIP? These all are the VLAN 60, VLAN 70, VLAN 80, VLAN 90. These are the prefixes and MLS1 we are getting. Now try to ping 192.168.60.10. Yes, we can able to reach from VLAN 10 to VLAN 60 and try to ping VLAN 70 also 70.10. Yes, we can able to reach. So reachability is happen through now trace at through which path we are getting. One 192.168.60.10. So first is reach to gateway, that is 192.168.10.1, then 13.1.1.1. So this is the path. First hope 13.1.1.1 and second hope is 14. So 14.1 is this one and third hope is 15. This one is the hope, fifth hope, and this is the destination we reach. So 6 hope away, the path is available. So five hopes away. 5 hopes away, the path is available. Don't confuse it. Max hope, the whichever we are ping, that is up to 630 hope, maximum 30 hope. But RIP protocol is maximum hope is 15 only. We are using traceat. Traceat command with traceat up to 30 hope hour away we can check. So we'll enable here also. Before the enable, we'll check only this. Now we'll turn it on this router. Now what happened, we'll check. Before that, show IP route. Here we'll check. Show IP route. So through RIP we are getting, and now we'll check here also. Show IP route. Through RIP protocol we are getting. Now we'll turn on this router. Here we configured static routing. Statically, we enable default. So IP route. So here you can check statically we enable and AD value is here 1. The AD value is static AD value is 1. Now check here. Show IP route. Statically we are getting. Statically we are getting the prefixes 192.168.60.10 earlier through RIP we got. So behind the reason is the best path is selected based on the AD value. So the AD value, whichever the AD value is least, that will be best path. So the AD value is here 1 and this is a 120. Even though you configured here this router also, it won't work. We haven't enabled the RIP protocol, show IP protocol. we haven't enabled, and configure the RIP protocol, config terminal, router RIP, and version is 2, and which prefixes we have to advertise. Make sure 16.1.1.0 and 17.1.1.0 for this router. And network 16.1.1.0, and one more is network 17.1.1.0. Now check show IP protocol. Show IP protocol. So we configured here. You can send the timers also. You can here periodically it is sending the update every 30 seconds, and hold down timer is 180 seconds, and invalid timer is 180 seconds, and flash timer is 240 seconds. These are the prefixes we advertised here, and RIP AD value is 120. Now check. Same will get again because show IP protocols. We advertised VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 40, VLAN 50 prefixes. Those are here available, and directly connected interfaces also. And show IP route. With this command, we'll check how we are getting. Statically only, still till we are getting through AD value 1. The next hop IP address is 11.1.1.2. This is the next hop IP address. This is top one is next hop IP address 11.1.1.2. Through we are getting which prefixes 60, VLAN 60, VLAN 70, VLAN 80, and even though VLAN 90 also. Entire prefixes. So what we'll do, we'll close this router. Now we'll check in this two part which one is, it will be select the best path, because this one also AD value is 120, because we enable the RIP protocol here also and here also. We'll check. I have closed this router. Switch off. Turn it off. Show IP protocols. So here you can check the prefixes which IP we are getting, and show IP route. Now you can verify it. Through 192, 168, 60 dot through RIP we are getting, but now check here the next hop IP address is 16.1.1.2 through this hop. So we have two hops away. Earlier, you can check here, you can verify here. Earlier, we haven't configured this path. So that time we got the prefixes 192, 168. These are the prefixes 3 hops away through 13.1.1.2. That time next hop IP address is this one. Okay, got it. So how will configure a RIP protocol entire thing? If you have any queries, ask me. This is the best path. This is a way to best path selection. It will be happen, and dynamically how we configure the protocol, dynamic routing protocols, how we configure the RIP protocol, and how we advertise the prefixes. It is easy way to how we advertise compared to static. The RIP protocol or dynamic routing protocols easy way, and even though they are selecting the best path through dynamically. So here, how many, even though if you configure here 1 gig link also, it will be select the best path, this one only, because only one hop away the link is available. So it will be select the path is this one only. It won't check which is how much bandwidth in between. It won't check bandwidth. It only check the path, how many path away the destination is available. This is all about the RIP protocol and configuration. If you have any queries, ask me. Any doubts?
No, Alim, looks like it is clear. Maybe today we'll do the lab, and if we get any doubts. I mean, I don't have for now, so I don't know about others.
Okay, fine. I'll stop the recording. We'll discuss if anything. So for this router, what we'll do, we'll turn on and we'll remove default routing. And in this statically, we enable the default routing. We'll remove that and we'll configure here OSPF routing protocol. OSPF. Now we'll check which one is the AD value. OSPF AD value by default, that is actually OSPF AD is 110 and RIP AD value is
120.
is 120. How we have to enable the OSPF? Before that, we'll later on we'll remove the default route. So IP route will configure both of them. So IP route. So what will happen? We'll check. By default routing also is there. Will enable the OSPF also config terminal, and for that go to the router OSPF and we'll discuss what is process ID in later on. I'm giving just 10. And for that, we have to enable the network with the network command will advertise the prefixes. Same thing till what we discussed in RIP protocol. Same way we have to advertise and which are the directly connected interfaces. That prefixes we have to advertise here. 11 dot, sorry, 11 dot 1 dot 1 dot 0 and here we have to give the wildcard mask. We'll discuss later. What is now time being, forget about the wildcard mask. 255 and make sure area is 0. And same way we have to enable the 12 this path. Fast Ethernet 0 by 1. And will advertise only 1 or 2 prefixes, not entire prefixes. Will advertise 1 or 2 prefixes. Router OSPF and which prefix 192, sorry, 10. Process ID is 10 and network is 11.1.1.0. Make sure in between we have to enable the prefix, advertise the prefixes, then only neighborship will form in between. Otherwise, it won't form. So wildcard mask 0.0.0, 255 and area is 0. Now tell me which one is the easiest way to configure RIP protocol or OSPF. So now you can check adjacency message we got here. We got a adjacency message, means both are the neighbor, the form in between neighbor. Now you can advertise here any prefix. Network one. Yes, ask me the questions. If you have any queries, ask me. 0. Just I'm showing how the we assign the multiple routing protocols. So in real time, you have to check only not only the one protocol. You can check here multiple routing protocols and single router. They'll configure as they like EAGRP and OSPF and BGP and eBGP, exterior BGP and interior BGP, those many routing protocols. So, and statically we configured also, and default routing also configured. So that is the reason I am showing the multiple, how we can enable the routing protocols, multiple routing protocols. Now check here. So we'll advertise here also. So fully I'm trying to configure fully in between. So from here to here, and this is the way I'm configuring the OSPF for this path only. So in real time, not all the prefixes will advertise in single routing protocol. Some OSPF they advertise some prefixes, and BGP protocol they advertise some prefixes based on the requirement. So not all the prefixes only at one routing protocol they'll advertise. Router, OSPF, and process ID 10, and with the network command will advertise the prefix, which prefix 12 dot. Now 12.1.1.0 and wildcard mask 0.0.0.255 and area is 0. And one more prefix will advertise. One is LAN prefix will advertise 192.168.60.10 and wildcard mask not 10, 0 will advertise enter prefix. And you can check here, neighborship is formed in between. In these two routers, the neighborship is formed. We got the alert also here. This is the log. Area is 0. Now check show IP route. See, we configure the OSPF routing protocol for this prefix 192.168.60.10 for 10 this set, and even though we are getting statically only because of, anyone tell me the reason why we are getting the till static only? Anyone have the reason? Hmm. Guys, tell me the reason behind. So the reason behind is we configured here default routing. So default AD value is, so that is 1.
Mhm.
So that will remove these prefixes, no? Copy and now check. Earlier we got through statically. Wait for a while. So running configuration. So OSPF we advertised here. So running configuration. So here we have to remove for only one prefix. 150 no space. And same thing. So running configuration. Now check through OSPF also will get show IP route. Now tell me, now check here. Through OSPF, we are getting the prefix, only one prefix. So in real time, we'll advertise static some prefixes and OSPF some prefixes. Some prefixes will advertise through BGP. So make sure, so entire routing will be happen. So based on this criteria, it will be select the best path. Everyone got it or not? So here, how many? So we configured some prefixes as a statically. Some prefixes we configured as a through RIP. So some prefixes we configured as a OSPF. So make sure, so IP protocols don't confuse in real time. So with this command, we can check how many routing protocols are working. We'll discuss OSPF. Just I have shown here some brief about the how we'll configure at a time on multiple routing protocols. So how we are getting the prefixes. So IP route. So only one prefix, that is 192. Which prefix? This prefix from which MLS to multi-layer switch to. So how we are getting 192, 168, 10.0. The AD value is here 110 means the AD value is 110 means it's a OSPF routing protocols. And this is the metric value. We'll discuss metric, how we get the metric behind that one formula is that. And via this is the next hop IP address. Next hop IP address is 12.1.1.2. 12.1.1.2. This is how we configure multiple routing protocols. Through we'll get the prefix. Through we'll get the our prefix network IDs. Based on requirement, we'll configure it. Everyone